I'm going to open up this to everybody, and because I think Bhagavad Gita cannot be taught to anybody. Everybody, each of us has a wisdom within ourselves, and the more we share this wisdom with each other, the better each of us will evolve. So, I'm going to start off with the questions that were asked. Meenu madam, I think your questions are also in this particular. Um, the first is, let's start with the first. Um, regarding the death of a person who has attained jnanam, they will have the ability or circumstances to complete all the prarabdha before the prana leaves the body. Is that so? In that case, will the free will be free of accumulating any new karma? It will not have any good or bad vasanas associated with the same thing. But the body will keep doing activities according with the prarabdha karma, but the mind does not get affected by it. Okay, this is the first part. The question here really is, who is the doer? We have already seen the Brahman is a state of nothing. From the state of nothing, there is a spandana. From the spandana, an identity comes out. The identity then seeks affirmation of existence. That is, the identity does not know that it exists, whether it exists or not. It experiences existence, but without a confirmation of existence, it cannot be sure that it is actually existing. So what does the identity do? The identity actively seeks to get confirmation from others. Now, when that happens, the identity establishes a relationship with the other one, other identity. When that happens, and there is acknowledgement from the other identity, the self, experiences great happiness, ananda. But at the same time, the identity also experiences bhaya. Bhaya means fear. Fear, what is the fear that it experiences? The fear of loss of identity. If I lose that particular identity, I will not get confirmation of identity. So it will cling to the other identity even if it is a damaging relationship. That is why in many bonds, you will find that people will hold on to bonds even if it is a regressive relationship. So what happens is that the identity, so once that happens, the bond is established and the give and take begins to start. The transaction begins to start. This transaction results in a movement, a relative movement between this identity and the other identity. This relative movement is karma. In this relative movement, there is a give and a take. But that give and take is never equal. Somebody gives more and the other person gives more. So there is a debit and there is a credit. The difference in debit and credit is the debt that the other person has. So somebody becomes the giver, somebody becomes the taker. So there is a register that is created. This creation of debt is called agami karma. The overall general ledger of debt or credit is called sanchita karma. The debt that has come now for dissolution is called prarabdha karma. The question is, I will, Lata Narayanan madam, I will come to you. So we will let's stay with this. Now what happens is, the question is, where is the debt residing? That means you have to go back to first principles. Who is the one who started the whole process? the identity. The identity is an Atma. Is actually the core identity is an Atma. Before the body comes, it is essentially an Atma. So the debt is held by the Atma. The question really is then thereafter, if you want to make sure that the debt is made zero. So the thing is that for as long as the debt remains, the Atma has to keep on building relationships and dissolving relationships. That is called samsara. That is the samsara sagara. That is the entire chakra of birth and death happens because the debt has to be reconciled. But every time you are reconciling a debt, you are also creating a debt. So how do you get out of this vicious cycle? The only way you can get out of it, for that you need to go back to first principles. It is the identity, the Atma, which is coming out and needing a relationship in order to affirm existence. So the only way you can get out of that is by negating the relationship, the sense of existence. Which is why we are practicing Yoga Vidya. That entire yoga thing that we are talking about today is essentially meant for us to be able to separate the self from the action. That means when the self is not, the Atma is just observing the action happening, there is no debt. Because if only when you experience Ananda or Bhaya, will you take on a debt. If you are neither happy nor are you afraid, then what happens? The action is happening. You are involved, but it is not affecting you. You are not moving with that particular action. You are just, it is happening. So the essence of yoga is that you isolate yourself from the outcome, the action. And that is the fundamental of Karma Yoga. That fundamental of Karma Yoga is that you perform the action. How to perform an action without actually creating debt. Now, this is the basis of Karma Yoga. Now, I will take questions. We will get into discussion mode, starting with Lata Madam. After that, Meenu Madam. Yes, Lata Madam.
So you said this creation of debt. So who keeps track of this debt that has been created?
Okay. Now, actually, that gets addressed in chapter 11. But for now, I'll briefly deal with it. Okay. If you will see in our system, that is, we have 7 lokas: Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, Janarloka, Taparloka, Satyaloka. Right? Now, Bhu is the earth, Bhuvar is the atmosphere, Suvar is the solar system. You see, the cognates are also very similar. Bhur, Bhuvar, Suvar. Suvar is solar. Mahar, this is where you have the Maharishis, the basic. Now that here we get into a bit of metaphysics. Okay. Now the thing is that as you begin to practice yoga, you'll see your consciousness, your awareness will see the consciousness moving within the body in the form of motility. It is called prana. Now if you can actually create matter with that particular, as you go into advanced yoga, there are what they call ashta siddhis. You can create matter, you can become invisible, you will be able to do telekinesis, all of that. For that you have to be highly evolved. But it also means that you can change karma. You can change prarabdha karma. You cannot destroy it. You can alter it. Now, many people would have heard of advanced people like Paramacharya, that is Chandrasekhara Saraswati, um, would alter the. I mean, somebody would come with great grief and things like that. He was able to change um, the experience of the person or the physical deformity and things like that. It is not that the karma has been removed, it's been altered, but there is a certain element of capability that the person has in order to do that. You understand? So what happens is that as each loka, as these people begin to get great, become more and more evolved, it is called Mahar Loka, that is a Maharishis. These people don't really die in the physical form as what we think they exist. See, everything here is Maya. This is something that we need to recognize. Maya is an illusion. We think it exists, but if you close your eyes, it does not exist. So you have to recognize this, that in the world of Maya that we are in, we think it is the truth. It is not. It is a perceptual truth. It is a state of perception. That is why the ultimate truth, that is a Brahman, is called Paramartha Satya. This is called Vyavaharika Satya. This is Samvriti Satya. That is the transactional truth. And Vyavaharika Satya is the transactional truth. Samvriti Satya is the perceptual truth. This, we perceive everything to be available to us or existential. It is not. It is Maya. So you are talking about advanced yogis who are in a position to manage some of these pranas. And that is what is happening. That is where the reconciliation actually happens. Beyond that, you have tapar loka. Tapas is a point where if you are able to bring your entire prana to a point where it is completely in your control, that is ultimately tapas. That's why it's called austerity. Austerity means you cease to, you do not exist anymore. You are able to look at yourself like a specimen in a laboratory. You are the experiment, you are the observer, you are the outcome. Am I making sense, Lata madam?
So yes, yes. So you're saying that it's the people in the Rishi Yoga who actually keep track of this debt and credit.
To be honest with you, I don't know. But this is what is said. See, the thing is that until you go to that stage, you have to, if you remember, I have told you before, you have pramanas. Pratyaksha is the most, the most evolved is the pratyaksha. That is my personal experience. But for that, you have to be highly evolved. I am not that at that stage. So what do? I use anumana. That is, I use comparison. I use various techniques of logic in order to come to a conclusion. And this is the conclusion I have come to. Now, if you have another thought form that says that this might be the right solution, I'm perfectly willing to listen to you.
Sir,
But this makes best sense to me.
No, I just want to clarify my question with an example for.
Mm.
So, for example, I pay 500 rupees and I attend a certain session. Somebody is teaching mathematics, let's say. I just go and sit in that session where I believe that there will be a value add, so I'm going and sitting over there. After that 1 hour session, I feel it's a complete waste of my money, that he has not made any value add to me. I have not learned anything. But that man has obviously done his best. It's not as if he has not done his best. He has given his best. But for me, for the money I paid, I feel that I have not learned anything in the process. Now, who is to decide who is the debtor and who is the creditor in this? Because I have not, although I have sat through that 1 hour session, I have not learned anything. In fact, I feel it's a complete waste of my time. So, in this case, I feel that I have actually done him a favor by sitting through that 1 hour and adding to the audience, whereas he believes that he has taught me for that 1 hour, so he's imparted something. So in this case, then who will decide? Where is the debt? Where is the credit? Then
Can I ask you a simple question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question is, who is the doer here? Why is the person doing? Now, for instance, if you if you went to a class and you said, I want to learn, then at that point in time, the money does not mean anything. Correct? Now, for instance, when you come to my class, when you come to this class, okay, we are not charging anything for the class. Now, I can, if I was to take the position that I am great, I am teaching everybody yoga, that is one position. Now I am already creating a framework on which I am deciding whether I'm going to like a student or not like a student. If the student says you're great, then I feel good. I'm going to feel great. If the student says you're rubbish, I wasted my time, then I don't add value to the student, or I'm not. Then we start creating karma here. However, if I come here and perform an action of sacrifice, where I am saying that I am doing this, what little I know, I will teach you, or I will share with you. What little you know, you share with me. Then what happens? There is a giver, and there's definitely there is a transaction. But the transaction is one where there is no personal given. I mean, there is no the person is not viewing it as a action, as I have done it. The ahankara is not there. If you go to a class and you watch the person saying that giving you something that is not adding value. If you have already been in that, that is because you've already reached a state where your value is at a different level, and you are seeking you're seeking some kind of a quid pro quo. When that does not happen, you feel let down. But suppose you were to say, you were to look at it dispassionately. This is not, I have not gained anything. Let it be, and then you walk away without actually feeling raga or dvesha, attachment. I mean, affection or distress. Then you do not create karma. Because the karma is always attached to the individual, no? The soul, the Atma. Am I making sense?
So absolutely, sir, I agree with you. And that was where my question started. If every transaction we do, we do not believe that we have created a debt. That,
No. It is not believing. There is no believing in creation of debt. You have to actually pratyaksha. You have to experience the lack of desire for an outcome for yourself. For the lack of it is there. That's all. There is no belief here. It is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means I must experience the lack of attachment to the individual or the outcome. Am I making sense here? We are talking karma yoga now. Lata madam.
Yes, sir. I mean, I understand your what you're saying, but my question is more like so because at every class I think you have mentioned that this concept of karma where you keep saying that there is a raga, there is a dvesha, and so basically every transaction there is a debit and a credit. In fact, you mentioned that in today's class also. So that's where the gap is because why should there be a debit or a credit is my question. That's where I mean I'm sorry, yeah. I'm just not able to maybe my level of understanding is way too low. I mean, I'm really not able to relate
there
to
is
that.
no low and high here. Please. Let's try because let's try and grab this once a little more. Maybe I haven't understood either. So the question is that you are saying that. Can you repeat it once more, please? Maybe I have not understood.
Sorry, sir, you want me to explain that again?
Yes.
So I believe that ultimately what you do has to give you a certain happiness, and if so, as long as it gives me happiness, I'm good with it, and it should not create sadness. So that just because I get happiness does not mean that I have created a debt towards the person who has given me that happiness. That's what I'm trying to say.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that you are entitled to happiness?
Sir, that's another thing that I truly believe in. I believe that the purpose of existence is being happy doing what you're doing, because ultimately, for all
One,
the various books I've read and all of that, this session is actually very different. I mean, what you've been telling me from the telling us from the beginning is very different from what I have been reading, a lot of reading that I've done, because what little I have read is that the very purpose of our existence is creating good memories, happy memories, things which we can take back into. And so when we merge, and when we kind of when we are reborn again, we carry happy memories, because if we have sadness, that is the dvesha, and if we do not like somebody, or if we carry hatred towards somebody, that somebody is again going to come in our next birth in some other form. It could be anything but all, but that hatred will apparently continue. So that
let
is
me
why
ask.
it is
I'm not
important to
perfect. Perfect.
make things equal or something, summum in this birth. Don't
Perfect.
carry
No,
any
you no 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 no. Samam is not. This is not samam. You have not said this is. You have said you have to be
happiness.
happy.
I agree. I agree.
That
Happiness.
one second. Now you said you are a chartered accountant. If I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes.
Okay. Now the question. Yes, yes, yes. There are a lot of people who want to contribute. Just hold on. One moment. We'll come back. Um, Madam, the thing is that you have. If you want samam, you can neither be happy nor can you be sad. That is samam. Samam is not being happy all the time. That is not samam. The question really is that if you want, if you're saying when I want to give happiness and get happiness, you are saying I want to be a creditor all the time. If you are going to be a creditor, somewhere you have to become a debtor. Otherwise, your reconciliation of books will not happen.
Sir, the objective of getting happiness or giving happiness is not for a debit or a credit. It's because I want to carry back pleasant memories or whatever. That does not
Why?
mean that I'm expecting the other person to become a debtor for me. Not at all. I'm giving
You
happiness
can't
because
expect it
it
is
gives me
karma.
happiness to give happiness.
It
I
is
am happy
karma.
giving happiness. That's all. It does
If you
not
are
mean that the
giving,
other person has to be a debtor for me.
it will be. How can that be possible? Suppose you give me 10 rupees, I automatically owe you 10 rupees. No. Similarly, if you give me happiness, I owe you happiness. No. Why is it that you think it has got to be only material?
Sir, I'll give you the same example of this max class. Just as an example. Now I am the professor. Now I
Hmm.
have gone there and given my best, and that has made me very happy. Now, out
Hmm.
of the 1,000 audience, 999 may feel that that was complete rubbish, but that is not my problem.
Correct. That is provided you have not had ahankara, that I am the doer. I am doing what I have to do as best as I can. And after that, if somebody gives you an input, if you are saying that I will accept that input and then try to change and make it better, if you will notice many of my classes, I keep repeating many of the things. Why? Because I get inputs, and when the inputs come, it becomes incumbent on me to make sure that everybody is comfortable with the concepts or with the way the class is moving, isn't it? Now the question is that at the end of the day, if you give, you have to get. There is no, that is the basic idea.
Even
You
if I
understand?
give without an expectation of a return. But then that is what sattva is all about. Because you said don't attach happiness or sadness to anything. So when
But
you give, and when you give because you want to give and not because you want to receive anything in return, then that is sattva, no?
Lata madam, see the thing is that just hold this for a moment, because there are lots of people who have inputs. Let us listen to everybody and then I
Sure,
will
sir.
come back to you. I'm
Sure.
not going to let it go. Okay, don't misunderstand me. Okay, first Meenu madam, then Jayashree madam, and then there are two more. That is Anand sir, and then Lakshmi Suresh. Okay, who's the first? Meenu madam. Yes, madam.
Uh,
Meenu madam, please.
Audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So we began saying that first there was nothing, and then one power became manifest. I don't know which word you used, but
The identity, an identity can manifest.
okay. That identity needed validation from some other person, and there was no other person. Okay.
Correct.
And therefore, probably the world got created in the process in order to kind of get that validation.
Perfect.
Okay. So from nothing, this
something
and the vibration, whatever, out of that, if something comes which requires a validation that I do exist, right? So this is how it begins. But somewhere you are joining in the transactional nature of things, and this good and bad, meaning papa punya and the balance sheet and all.
We have not gone to papa punya at all. We are only talking karma right now. We are not going into papa punya.
Karma is also eventually split into papa karma and punya karma.
Let's don't get there, because you'll muddy the waters, and then we will never be able to extricate ourselves out of that. Please don't go there right now. Right now, you just stick with what has been done, so what we are doing right now. Don't go into papa punya, that kind of stuff, because
to papa punya, I'm simply saying karma is a bundle of papa punya, like how we say one day is part.
Okay, leave it. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Aage badho.
So I'm saying that when all that was required by the impulse was a validation, that it could get that validation from another single soul. There's no need for this entire world. One. And then where did the karma come into the picture? Why the karma? It's the whole concept of karma. Where does it come? Considering the only thing required was that someone to say, hey, you do exist. That's it.
But that means you have. But then that's what I explained to you, no? The minute somebody, the first thing is that you manifest. If somebody does not give you feedback, you begin to feel insecure.
No, I'm not.
Let me finish. The minute you find somebody who is willing to give you feedback, then what happens? You latch on to the person even if the relationship is toxic. You then get into a transaction. You give and you take, because the basic nature of any bond means that you have to give and you have to take. And that give and take, when you are in congruence with the other person, then you come closer. You want a closer relationship, you move closer. That is karma, that is called raga. When you are not able to, if you are not in congruence, you push the other person away, that is dvesha. This is essentially the basis of karma. The action, the movement is karma. The outcome is debt. That is rina.
The question is, when only validation was required that I exist. There was no karma concept only in this entire thing of validation. Someone saying that this first being who came.
So let me ask you a question. Suppose you get validation. After the validation is removed, what happens to you?
Come about and the inter-transactional.
No. You are not paying attention, Meenu madam. Suppose you are. Suppose you have you said that we need only validation. Suppose you get validation and then the validation is taken away. What happens to you?
Sir, I didn't say I need validation. I said the whole topic.
Suppose the soul transacts with the other soul. That's
one. No. The first impulse that came when there was nothing. I'm there. Still, I'm there. I'm not coming to this society. I'm saying from that one impulse came, and it came into a form like a sakara, something came, and it needed validation.
Okay.
It needed validation, or whatever you want to call that. That entity needed validation. So once it gets validation that hey, you are there, you indeed exist. Where is all the other karma and everything come in the picture?
Okay, I'm also answering the same question. the validation has come. Correct?
That's it, finished.
हाँ, if that validation एक बार हो गया, then what happens? You need continuous validation. एक बार validation से काम नहीं होता है. Because at the end of the day, you continue to remain insecure.
I'm not.
That is the problem with the identity. No, we are all insecure fundamentally because we continuously need that stroking. The validation stroking is a continuous requirement for every one of us. Why do you, if for instance you get validation and then you're thrown in, you go into a room, will you be able to sit alone? No. After some time you'll come out for validation again. Try it. Try the experiment.
To say something here, sir. Again and again, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying I'm not talking about we all and everything. I'm saying when originally one impulse came and one identity.
Yes, madam. That's the point I'm also saying. I'm not changing. What I'm trying to, what I'm saying, if the minute you have validation, the validation is continuous. It needs continuous validation. If you get a validation, you cannot then afterwards go do away with it. But the validation is continuous, so the bond is established.
But sir, what is validation per your definition? Because I don't know that kind of validation you are talking about. Any one of us is constantly getting from people. I don't know. That's why I want to know.
That is why we become insecure. No.
No, but how do you define validation?
I exist.
I exist. Yeah. So that first impulse which came, it somehow got a validation from another something. That and of course the question begs that where did that another something jump from? Like where did it come from? Nothing.
It has come from nothing.
Okay.
Two entities came from nothing. Okay. They are now validating each other.
Yes, and that's it. No, then how did the whole world and everything come about? That's what
No. See, the thing is that thereafter, now the question is of size. You are talking about scale. I am not talking whether now you don't know whether that small it was a quanta unit or it was a mega unit. Those are not the important things because ultimately whether it is small or big, it is the same thing. The whole principle is what you need to understand, that whether you give or take, I mean whether you are, no matter what entity is there, if you don't confirm the existence, you will always be insecure.
But we are not anyone's existence daily on a daily basis.
You have no idea. Believe me. You sit in one place and don't leave your room. See what happens to you.
No. What? Perhaps I'm not saying.
It is experiential. See, what I'm not trying to be. Please understand. I may come across as being brutal. I'm not. I'm actually being very honest. You sit in one place and try not to do anything. For example, if you have a dog in your house, you ignore the dog and see what happens. The dog will show so much of insecurity, it will be shocking to you because that is a very, this is one that is most significant in animals, especially the house dog. The house dog is constantly seeking validation. You try it. Pratyaksha is the most permanent form of proof. Okay, now I'm going to stop with you, Minu Madam, for the moment because there are other people also. Let us go to Jayashree Madam.
I'm left with questions, but it's okay. You can go to other people, sir. Other people. Thank you. They're waiting.
No. We'll come back to you. Don't worry, because no, I don't think everybody's. We have to give everybody a chance to talk.
Wait to like maybe share something. Yeah.
Yeah, because some of what Jayashree Madam says may be able to answer your question better than I am. Yes, Jayashree Madam.
So my question is, I'm here. Thank you. Yeah. So my question is, Maya is an illusion, correct? And everything. I mean, you said when you close your eyes, you won't be able to see anything, feel anything. It's nothing when you close your eyes. How to remain in that awareness? It's very it's an arduous task, but yeah, how to remain in the awareness that in a very realistic, practical, and like in a daily living way, how to be aware that everything is illusion, and about this doership, how to eliminate little by little that sense of doership from even everyday activities, like I'll come back only to making a cup of tea. How
Correct.
to eliminate that sense of doership.
Okay. Jayashree madam, in this case, that comes in the subsequent classes. That is
Okay, no problem.
Karma,
No problem.
application of karma yoga, we will definitely get into that.
No
That
problem.
is,
Right.
we have to go there because that is a very critical part of what Sri Krishna teaches Arjuna. So we
Fine.
will do karma yoga properly. That is a yoga.
Okay.
Anand sir,
Thank you.
no problem. Anand sir,
Yeah, sorry, I have only one point.
you had an observation.
Yeah, I was observing. I mean, I thought that is the purpose of this class, that all questions need not be only answered by you, others can contribute to it.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
thinking I had. So
Yes,
when
it is.
Lata madam was saying about happiness and all that,
Mm.
my point was, it is like that proverb we have, one man's poison is another man's, or one man's food is another man's poison, or whatever
Correct.
you may call it. So the happiness, when she was saying, my only question to her or to all of us was, my happiness need not be your happiness. So I cannot decide that my happiness gives me credit and I am happy with it. That is my goal of my life. So we will have to look at the samashti
The
in the
receiver
sense
also.
it is a
The
yeah,
giver,
it is a
giver is not important.
it
Yeah.
is a relative term. So that is where you defined it as a karma related thing, whatever is happening. So that is what I was trying to
I agree.
communicate.
I
That was the
agree
point.
too. Perfect. The interesting thing here is that where we mix up is in the personality. When we become a personality, then the give and the take becomes personal. When
Right.
you give and take without the person, then what happens is it is happening. You are doing. I mean, it is being done. I am not the doer. So it is somewhat like um, the entire business of transaction is happening, but there is no doer as such. When there is no doer, the need for affirmation of relationships or for somebody to say you're doing a good job ceases to exist. So in Lata madam's question is actually very valid, because at the end of the day, for as long as we identify ourselves with either being good or being bad or indifferent, we have, that means we are engaged in the outcome. When we are not engaged in the outcome, then it is nirguna. There is no tamas, there is no rajas, there is no sattva.
Exactly.
Even
Yeah.
the existence of sattva in a relationship or in a transaction will create debt. Even if you are giving good things, suppose you are giving your sari, this, that, your housemaid, you are paying for her tuition and all that, there is a debt that is created. And that was that was the same debt that I was talking about with our children. Our parents gave us birth. So we have the debt of looking of cremating them when they die and doing the various rites. They look after us when we grow, or so we look after them when they are old and things like that. That is how the balancing of the debt happens. However, if suppose you were to say that why am I doing this? Now, most of the time, when we do this for our child, suppose we get very upset if the child is passing stools or doing that, then what happens is that not only you're actually getting attached to the outcome of what the child has done. However, if you look at it as an event which is neither good nor bad, it is neutral, then there is no karma there. Here you are the one who has created a karma by saying that this is not good, this is good. Suppose you go outside. Now, for instance, let me give you another example. You are standing in a queue. Somebody comes and breaks the queue. you have a choice. Now, first is you are afraid to. Suppose he's a hatta katta. He looks like a thug. Now you are getting afraid to confront that person. That fear is called tamas. Now, suppose you build up the courage and you talk to that person. Get out of the queue. Now, how you express yourself will depend on the level of your fear. Suppose that fear is under control. You are stable within yourself. Your swabhav or your entire bhava is of harmony. Then you will express yourself. Arey bhai, don't do this. It's not correct. Now, suppose that person turns aggressive on you. The question really is then thereafter, what happens to you? If suppose you begin to feel very insecure thereafter and you lash out, then you have now got into either a tamasic relationship or a rajasic relationship, but you got into a relationship with the other person. There is a transaction that has happened. There is a give and a take. That give and take results in a pull-push, and that pull-push results in karma and a debt. Lata madam, have I been able to explain slightly better?
Yes, sir. Yes. So that means every transaction need not result in a debit credit situation. That's my point.
Provided you're in nirguna state. You have to be without guna, without sattva, rajas or tamas. Only then are you isolated from the outcome of the action.
I agree, sir. So I may get into a transaction with this nirguna situation, but the other person may feel that he's actually giving me something. Then, because the explanation you gave is that the Rishi Loka, the people are sitting over there, they're estimating who has given more, who has taken less. So, but from my perspective, it is a nirguna situation. I have not given anything, I have not taken anything, I am in a state of cool and calm. But the other person who is involved may believe they've given me something. Then what happens?
The point is, when that transaction that you have been in, the outcome has not impacted you, then that particular transaction you have no karma. However, the problem with all of us is we are unable to retain that state throughout all 24 hours. With every breath, let me give you a simple example. You breathe. If you breathe, if your breath is pushed inside, if you do this, I have created karma. It is that subtle. When I do this, I have created a karma. That means the breath must be without any relationship to the body. It exists. Do you realize how subtle it is now? So that is the thing. The karma is not that simple. You have the whole business of karma is nirguna state, means you are there, yet you are not there. There is nobody who is interacting. You are allowing nature to occur, to move, but you are only an observer. You are not a participant. Have I made sense to you, Lata madam?
Yes, sir. Definitely, yes.
Appa, thank you.
May I?
Jayashree madam.
No, my question is answered. Thank you.
Meenu
No,
madam.
actually, it's a relief, sir, that every transaction I'm getting into is not a debit credit situation. You clarified that. Thank you.
Yes, everyone is not. It is essentially that, unfortunately for us, sometimes, like for instance, if we are talking to somebody whom we are not very close to, then we can be a little separated. But if it is our child, if you said you have 2 children, if those children do some masti, and that masti is something that you've been telling them for donkey's years not to do, what happens to you? You lose it, no? When you lose it, you've created karma. And at multiple levels, your breathing starts going. So you're creating karma, your actual movement of the body, the way the body reacts, everything is creating multiple karmas, not just one karma. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, you're impacting yourself.
Exactly. That is the karma that you're creating.
So the debit and credit is for yourself, no, sir?
No, but within your body also there are infinite number of atmas. No.
It is like, isn't it also like, it is not just individually, it is also collectively. The karma
Yes.
also affects us, not only for oneself, that is by oneself or whatever, but also in that's
It impacts everybody. Yes. Lalita madam, I'm not nobody we are not able to
the
hear.
Samaj, the society, the country, the whole world. That is how all of us are connected in one way or the other. It's said if we sneeze here, it is felt somewhere else. The subtle ripples, as he was telling,
Yes.
sir was saying about breathing also. I mean, that is within ourselves. So, like
Absolutely.
that, correct? Am I right?
Yes, you are 100% right. But if we get into that topic, then there is no end to it. So that we will take at a different level, because how individual karma impacts society is something we get into dharma. So we will not get there
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
You tell us some other time when it is this. No, but my
No, no,
point to
but
her was that it is all not oneself alone, but it is
yes,
collectively, severally also. We are all connected,
yes, you are 100% correct.
even
Now,
including in karma.
yes. So we will definitely take that subject up also, because it's an important one. It will come naturally. Now, Jayashree madam, before I get to you, I want to find out if Meenu madam understood whatever we did.
Sir,
You're
Of
still confused.
no, I am not confused. But I want to put the piece, the whole.
our Gita or any other scriptures,
Just
but on a very practical this.
knowledge is
Hello,
for me. I to
Meenu madam, wait. Lalita
am
madam
I
is saying
audible?
something. Yes, madam.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
That if we see that instead of thinking I'm doing or so and so is doing, especially about oneself, instead of saying I'm doing this, I'm making a cup of tea, instead of thinking that way, the very change of sentence to the coffee is being made. The I
Correct.
doesn't come into the picture. It is
Correct.
happening. The action is happening.
Correct.
Like, for example, instead of thinking that now I am talking, the talking is happening. Because, I mean, if we extend it even logically, we know that it is true because that it is just happening. There are times,
Correct.
suppose our throat is, not okay and we are not able to talk. Then, however much we may wish to, we cannot do the talking. So, where
Correct.
is the doership then? So, similarly, any action we can, one of the simpler way, practical way, which I find very fascinating and useful is that we just need to think that this action is happening. I'm
Yes.
listening. No, the listening is happening.
That's a very
This
good point.
session
You
is
can think of.
happening. Yes, because so
Okay.
many people are involved and we all are learning from one another. It's such a beautiful experience. So this beautiful experience, instead of thinking it's happening, I'm enjoying it. We can just feel that this the joy is being experienced, joy being felt.
So
Is
there
this
is
okay?
personality is not exist. There is no personality. It is an event which is happening. The personality
Yes,
is
yes.
separated. Yes. So, Lalita madam, I'm now going to go to Meenu madam. Meenu madam.
Sir, today there are too many people more who want to talk, and I, for one, I don't. My style of understanding, let me put it that way, is
Okay.
take several pieces put them together, see whether they come together, and they also pass some litmus tests that I have, and then I'll come to a particular understanding of a whole thing. But if I have just pieces, I don't know how to correlate all of them. So I'm waiting for this kind of thing to solidify into something, and then I
Fair enough. See, the problem, Meenu madam, is this: each of us, our logics work in different ways.
true.
Okay. Now the point is that we are talking about existentiality. The problem with existentiality is that there is no immediate solution. It is not one of the small things. It is existence itself. What I am telling you today, I started working on it from the age of 26. You understand?
Mhm.
It has taken me how many years? I have been working on this for almost 45, 50 years. 45 years. After 45 years also, I am not perfect. I am not able to control myself. So it is not a simple thing. It is life. This is living. Who am I? Why is all this happening? What is the universe? These are huge questions which we need to simplify and swallow. We need to try and see how we can uh, use in our daily life. And that is the fundamental reason why am I alive? That is the question that we are answering. So it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work for it.
Yes.
You have to sit in one place and reflect. That's why it's called Swadhyayam.
But just have one thing to share here, the very short, so that others, whoever want to say something. I'm just saying that if as we go through learning this, we try to understand the axioms as has been given in the Bhagavad Gita. However, in order to not exactly reach, I don't think all of us will reach that in the same one birth only. It may or may not be possible. But to get even closer on that journey, okay, if we simultaneously also see some practical, we break it down into some practical ways of incorporating those principles into our daily life, our outlook, our verbal behavior, surrounding society, everything, then we at least be on the path, on that journey. How fast we go, how far we go, it will depend on so many other prarabdham and everything. It will depend on so many.
Meenu madam, I'm giving you homework.
Yeah, please do.
What you said now, no? You next class, you will come to us and tell us what is that one task you did which made you go from this point to another point.
Sure.
You will do a conscious thought process and you will share it with the class.
Sure.
Because see, at the end of the day, if you don't practice, no, all this theory has no value.
Sir, I'll tell you why this thought came into my head just moments ago. It came because when Jayashree madam was talking about, everybody being connected, blah, blah, and that we have to say the word, like the reading is happening or tea is being made or things like that.
It's not blah blah. It is a real thing.
Actually, paraphrase her entire thing that she said, right?
Okay.
That I don't remember it basically, so I cannot do that.
No
And
problem.
so kind of to condense it, I said I didn't mean any kind of offense to anybody.
I understand.
So, coming to the point here, from that I came to this conclusion that it is not enough. This is my own opinion to say that the coffee is being made, because all of us are living in this world in any different geographies, and every single child up to the most grown-up person, okay, we all have been born and we have already lived in a world which talks of karta. Karta is very important in this physical world. Who does and what is being done, okay? So all of a sudden we start saying the coffee is being made or something else is happening, that lynching is just happened and the war simply happened.
No, then in that case, Meenu madam, you have not understood what Lalita madam was saying. Meenu madam, what Lalita madam and what I have also been saying is, The karta, the karma, all of that. There are two parts to it. One is the action.
Yes.
One is the person.
Doer.
Doer.
Yeah.
What Lalita Madam and I, or Lalita Madam is saying, and I am also saying, is that for as long as you think you are the doer, you are creating karma. When you are not, when you are doing the action without with complete empathy, but without the attachment to the outcome of the action.
That's 1 minute, sir. Here, see, you just that nuance that you added, that makes all the difference. If we simply say that the coffee is being made, it's like one.
But that is what she is made. That is essentially what she is trying to say. See, the thing is, Meenu Madam, the first thing that we in communication, there's a rule that we need to try and figure out what is the communication by itself is a very limited thing. Words have got only so much capability. So we need to try and understand the meaning behind the words. So that is why we discuss it, because when we discuss it, what happens is that there are different interpretation, and there could be some resonance of another person's saying something that will resonate with you. That is the intent. That's why I keep asking you all for feedback and to talk, because my own word may not be enough to tell you what you need to know in your own words. You understand?
Yeah. So
the question.
Okay, one more thing, Meenu Madam, one more,
made.
Can you hear me?
1 minute, Lalita Madam, please let Meenu Madam finish.
So, yeah, Meenu, please continue.
Okay. There are two ways of saying it. One is that while I'm making the coffee, though consciously I know I'm making the coffee, consciously, okay? But I am not reinforcing it on myself that Vidya, I'm making the coffee. I'm not doing that. Okay.
So the coffee is being made, no?
No, but no.
The coffee is being made. Only thing is there is nobody making it. It is being made. Meenu is not doing it. Only the coffee is being made.
Coffee is being made regardless whether it's the machine is making, a coffee machine is making it, or I am making it. Doesn't matter. Coffee is being made. We are not into whether coffee is being made.
No. There is a fundamental error in the way the perception is happening. It is the issue is now of perception. The issue.
Yeah, 1 minute. So in the perception, there is exactly that's the point I wanted to make. It is that there are two parts to any action, any way of thinking, and that is one is Vyavaharik, one is Paramarthik. In Vyavaharik, yes, Madam, we have to say I am doing or so and so is doing. Why are we given names? So that we can identify and we can assign the work done or whatever, to understand. So it is a part of what Sir was saying, identification, all that comes. So identifying and naming and the I-ness or the doership in that sense, yes. But in the pharmacy, now here we are talking at not the physical level. Vyavaharik is mundane, what should we say, physical level. Everything has different levels, physical, emotional, and spiritual, etc. So we are now here in the session, we are talking about the spiritual, the philosophical aspect of it, and how to get rid of that doership. In that context, I said that happening thing, to remove myself or oneself from the action, that is one of the ways that I have found useful, is what my point was. But it doesn't mean we have to name ourselves when something is this. Yes, I did it, or I said it. When it is required, we have to say that, and we have to do that. That's required. That is at a Vyavaharik physical level. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, Meenu Madam, are you still? I mean, see, the thing is that there is no easy solution to this. The only way you can resolve this is by reflection. This is called Svadhyayam. There is obviously there is a role which I have to play, and I have to try. but there is a equally large role that you need to also try and put the bits together. I don't know if you have the see the book which I'm coming out with next week. Uh, Please try and get it and see if you can understand it. I've tried to simplify a lot of it. There are a lot of, I understand where you're coming from. The questions are not easy to solve. But the point is, I can't solve that for you.
No, but when we say that we have to take the spiritual angle of it, we can.
Forget the spiritual part. Leave the spiritual. There is no such. Leave the spiritual part. Be
No.
practical.
No.
Let us talk about practical understanding.
Now that there is, we are talking about the paramarthik and not the vyavaharik. She said that.
Okay, fine. Now you talk
So
only what is relevant to you. The point is that is relevant to Lalita madam. She has done a lot of reading. She's done a lot of research work. Now the question is for you. You are at a different level. For the thing is that the solution has to be tailor made for you. So the question really now is, how do we get you into that loop? That's the question.
My understanding is this. We are negotiating a physical world with a degree of physicality to it. No matter how you try to become spiritual in daily life, every single one has to go through mundane tasks in a world which is ruled by mundane rules.
Correct.
So to that,
who sets the rules? Okay, let me ask you a simple question. Why do you have to follow those rules?
Well, we can be a renegade and go retreat into the.
No. Who told you to be a renegade? One minute. Who told you to be a renegade? I didn't say don't be a renegade.
Like, who told us to follow the rules means what? It's a society is running by certain rules for God knows before we were all.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, no. I think you need to reflect on what I'm saying. The problem is you are going into action, reaction. That is not that will not solve the problem.
I'm not
Try and get into the underlying meaning of what I'm trying to say. Why do you have to follow the rule? You don't have to follow the you can do it without being the person who's doing it. I don't agree, but I'm doing it. But I don't feel good or bad, or I don't feel the need. I don't experience any good or bad. I'm doing it. You are not necessarily you are not. Then who is the person who's actually doing it?
World, when you do something, you be passionate about what you work is. What is told in and out everywhere. You got to put your passion in. You got to be enthusiastic about. So there is a degree of involvement expected by the world in our work. Not this neutral kind of thing. I have to do it, so I'm doing it. Nobody is doing.
Can I ask you a question?
No, sir, 1 minute. I want to tell you my point of view and then I'll hear the whole thing. And I'm
okay.
This. We can talk all philosophies till the cows come home. However, the most critical thing is in today's world, in this India where we are living, what are the means by which one can do, in a very practical sense, I'm saying, go through their world, work, career, job, whatever, family roles, everything. At the same time, keeping these principles in mind, because the karma that we talk of is not only paramarthik, it is very much vyavaharik. We do physical things and those karmas have got implication also. So the physical world
a simple question.
And
why? I have a very simple question for you. Why can you not do it that way? Why can't you do it that way? Why can't you be doing it yet not be personally attached to it? What stops you from doing it? You are the one who's creating the problem. The problem is not there.
Then why is
you have created a problem?
Why is the whole world in that problem then?
No. Forget the world. Only talk about yourself. You are the one who's involved in the world.
Sir, I am a product very much of this world. I didn't come from some other planet. No, so I will.
No. This is see. The thing is that there are okay. Meenu madam, we are going to close. The class has gone on for too long.
Yes.
Meenu madam, there is a requirement of mine for you. I want you to all these questions that you have done, you've raised. I want you to write it down. And I want you to say, right, also the answer as to why it should happen this way and why how can you remove the individual from the outcome without impacting the outcome.
So I am not Krishna. No, I don't know the solutions. How will I do that?
Arya, if you don't implement, how will you find out?
No, you are asking me to write answers also to my own questions.
Yes. How do you think I did it? I am here because I did that. For 26 or 35 years, I've been doing only this. I go to work. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm ending the class here because this is a very personal example I'm giving.
Okay.
So I'm ending the class here.